I had one question to the Lord before. Why did God create the knowledge of good and evil? God is omniscience, which means God knows everything. He surely know when He created Adam and Eve, they're going to eat the knowledge of good and evil. And because of that, we experience suffering, we experience sorrow, and we experience death. Let's look at Romans chapter 5, verse 12. Therefore, just as sin entered the world through one man, and death through sin, and in this way death came to all men because of all sinned. And because of that, we are under the influence of the original sin from the beginning of the birth. So then, what is the original sin? Let's look at Genesis chapter 3, verse 6. When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom. So the fruit of the tree was good for food. This is a desirable flesh and pleasing to the eye, lust of eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom. This is the pride of the world. So Satan used these things to tempt Adam and Eve, and first Adam and Eve, and he used the same way to second Adam, Jesus Christ. But Jesus Christ came to the earth and overcome it. And Satan used these things to tempt us same way. Because of that, sometimes people have a dispute, and sometimes people fall down because of original sin, and people are struggling with it, and because of that, Christians are suffering. And I also did, so that's why sometimes I blamed Adam and Eve. Because of you ate the knowledge of good and evil. Because of that, I'm right now in suffering. I'm now experiencing suffering. I'm right now experiencing sorrow, and I am in pain. I could not blame God, so that's why I blamed Adam and Eve. And after that times, I just had a question. Why did God create the knowledge of good and evil? And when we look at like Revelation chapter 21, verse 4, it clearly says that there is no sorrow and there is no mourning, or there is no death. So let's look at Revelation 21, verse 4. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain, for the order of things has passed away. So this is, we experience this with these things on this earth because of the original sin. But heaven does not have these things. So that's why I had a question, and then I kept asking to the Lord, and I did not search anything, and I did not read any commentary. I just kept asking to the Lord to seek the wisdom and the revelation from the Lord. And I read Bible so many times, and one day I realized it after 6 months later. And at the time I cried a lot, because at the time I know that I noticed the divine providence of the Lord. Let me share what I realized and what I meditated. Because Adam and Eve ate the knowledge of good and evil, because of the knowledge of good and evil, justice and judgment came to the earth. For example, heaven is a totally hierarchy system. So that's why when we look at when God created angel first, their status and then their class were determined at the time. So lower class of angels could not go upper class. So their status and then their class were just settled. So upper class angels have several low class angels, and it's like a hierarchy system, like a pyramid. So Satan copy these things to create the pyramid system on this earth. But heaven's pyramid is determined by how much we love Christ, and then how much we distribute the love of Christ. So unlikely angels, humans are created to the image of God. So that's why we can resemble Jesus Christ. We can resemble the image of God. So that if we choose to follow the evil way, then we will going to hell. So if people choose the wrong way and commit sin again and again and again, unless the words of God is coming to them, then they will be going hell. But if we choose Christ and then we know that what is the absolute truth is, and then if we follow the way of faith, then we will going to heaven, right? So this is justice, and also it's the same thing. So and also there is a different level of glorification. So on this earth, if we want to earn a lot of money and we work hard, then we earn a lot of money. And if we are being lazy, then we couldn't earn money and we become poor. Like this in heaven, if we work for the kingdom of heaven, and if we follow the Christ and then we love Christ and then share the love of Christ to the others, then our heavenly reward are determined by these things, by how we do on this earth. So this is showing like 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 41. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 40 to 41. There are also heavenly bodies and there are earthly bodies, but splendor over heavenly bodies is one kind, and the splendor over the earthly body is another. The sun has one kind of splendor, the moon another, and the stars another, and the stars differ from stars in splendor. So there is a splendor over the sun, there is a splendor over the moon, there is a splendor over the stars and star. So by the grace of God, I saw heaven several times, and I saw people's house over there. And some people have a really good house with jewelry, gold, silvers, and it's amazing. And some people even do not have a house over there, and they live with a different house, and they have like a different gap. So the upper class man can go to the bottom, but bottom people could not go to upper. So our heavenly reward are determined by what we do on this earth. So we should spend time wisely. This is justice. Also, God gave the metaphor of mina. Mina is money from the Roman city at first century. At the time, like Jesus Christ gave each mina to each servant, and one servant came to Jesus Christ. I make 5 minas from 1 mina, and God says that, well done, and I will give 5 cities to rule over it. And another man came to him and then said, I left 10 mina from 1 mina, and well done. I will give 10 cities to rule over it. And one man came and then says, because I did not make anything, and then Jesus Christ and God was angry, and then he put him outside of the city. So this thing shows that the judgment, the right judgment. So our heaven is not like a communism. So like a communism, all people have the same thing, but we have the different glorification. So this is justice. And how much we love Christ, and then how much we distribute the love of Christ is our heavenly reward. And because of the knowledge of good and evil, we can have the depths of love. So this is like a paradox. So how can we know the great love? Let's think about it. If there is no suffering, then we don't know that love from the suffering, love with the suffering. So for example, like if there is no darkness, then we don't know the light. And if there is no sorrow, and there is no suffering, and there is no darkness, then we only have the half of the love. So this is not fulfillment of the love. The great love shares everything: joy, sorrow, suffering, happiness, and also through the pain, because of love, we can endure. So that's why Jesus Christ must be abandoned. So in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Through Him, the Word was with Him in the beginning. Through Him, all things were made. Without Him, nothing was that has been made. In Him was a light, and then the life is the light of man. The light shines the darkness, but the darkness hasn't understood it. There came a man who was sent from God. His name was John. He came to testify concerning their lives, so through him all men might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as the witness to the lies. The true light gives the light. Every man is coming into the world. Through the world was made through him. The world did not recognize him. He came to which was his own did not accept him. So he must be abandoned. The world must be abandoned, so that he can show the great love toward the world. He gave the only Son. God gave the only Son to show His love toward the world. So think about it. If there is no enemy, then we don't know the love of your enemy. So He shows the great love toward the sinners. So if we did not become sinners, then we could not know the depths of the love. So because of Adam and Eve ate the knowledge of good and evil, they noticed that they need a savior. So that's why God gave them the clothes. So these things I realize it. There is a perfection from imperfection. There is a light from the darkness. There is like a heaven because of hell. So that's why this life is like a wedding invitation. So always I heard about the covenant, the bold covenant of a wedding. It touches my heart. So it says that I take to be my wedded wife or husband to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death us do part, according to God's holy ordinance, dare to plight my throat. So this is like an invitation of Jesus Christ to become a bride of Him. So He's our bridegroom and we are His bride. And He says that on Matthew chapter 28, I will be with you until the end of the earth. So He will be with you until the end of the earth, and He will share with you love. He will share with you sorrow, joy, suffering, and every negative part with you. So that you know that the depths of the love through when you experience this all darkness. So that's why Romans chapter 11 verse 33 to 35 says like that. Romans chapter 11 verse 33 to 35. Oh, the depths of the riches of wisdom and knowledge of God. How unsearchable His judgments and His paths beyond the tracking out. Who has known the mind of the Lord, or who has been His counselor? Who has ever given to God, that God should repay him? For from Him, and through Him, and to Him are all things. To Him be the glory forever. Amen. So that's why He just settled every drama, because He wants to show the great love story toward you. So He made the darkness, He made the light to show the fulfillment of the love. Love not only shares joy, but love also shares the sorrow. Love also shares the suffering. So that's why I love Jesus Christ. I want to also share His cup of suffering too. So this life is an invitation. So you are called to be the bride. Will you share that? Will you be my ready to husband, Jesus Christ, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, to love, to cherish till death us do part, according to God's holy ordinance. Will you?